I think we have the Kevin Stefanski clip, or Brad. Let's play that clip real quickly in the locker room, and then we can talk a little bit further about this.
How about that road win? Stayed resilient together like I told you we needed to, right? Stay resilient together, and we fought together. How about Gage's big punt return on special teams? How about Corey? Every single time you're out there pinning those guys doing your job. Great call. Offense wasn't perfect. How about that big play by Sam at the end? IB, huge play. Q, huge play. Harold making a big play. And then another rookie making his first start. Nice job, Shedeur. Well done. There's that old saying, save the best for last. How about that fucking defensive performance? Yeah. Holy is what I have to say about that. 10 sacks by our defense. Okay? I got one ball in my hand. Okay, I got a guy, he's got to get a cold every week. Okay, he had a cold this week. Wasn't feeling himself. 3 sacks, which gives him 18 on the season through 11 games, which breaks his own Browns record. Myles Garrett. Come on, man. So I'll see you guys in tomorrow. Hey, I'll see you Wednesday!
So it seems like in the locker room overall, applause. Like
days off? Hell yeah.
Everyone loves it, some days off. The reason why I'm
fired up.
This whole dysfunction is clearly when you're looking at with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur compared to Dylan, is it fair to say if we're looking at starter quality traits of looking at that Shedeur even in one start, it looks like the process is a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say to this. So I like I said at the top of this topic, that there needs to be breaks to be pumped. But what I will say is after watching that game, now granted, I know it was the Raiders. Shedeur Sanders was a different quarterback this week than he was last week against the Ravens. The poise that he had and the way that he was reading that defense, that the one pass out to Jerry Jeudy that Jerry Jeudy inevitably fumbled.
Oh my goodness!
But Shedeur's part in that play was incredible. He just swept out, saw the play, and made the pass. He just looked so comfortable, so poised that that felt like a veteran quarterback type of play.
Yeah.
That this wasn't his first start. So there were some qualities that I feel like, yes, he could be the starter there. I just don't like, and we've talked about this like with Caleb Williams. I don't like that we're just automatically painting this person as a star when he's got 1.5 starts under his belt, completing 41% of his passes. I'm not ready to make that. I hope that he does, but I'm not ready to make that call. I will say that with plays like that, it seems as if he's got starter qualities about him. I would agree with that.
Well, and I think he's got to be the starter. He deserves to be the starter moving forward. And also, you can't go into your locker room like that after winning a game. And granted, the defense, who's been balling out all year, and then you finally have a guy earlier on the touchdown, the first touchdown of the game, Shedeur rolled out and hummed it, 50 yards, hell of a throw. And even Myles Garrett was like, not a lot of quarterbacks that I've seen make that throw. So your players this dude, talent-wise, he's got to get out there. Now, is he going to be the franchise quarterback? I don't know. The thing, I think the reality of where I'm going with this, Zach, is the Browns in general, you hope it works out, but if it does, where do you stand with your team? I think it's just the Browns are in such a weird position as a franchise still. And I just – the whole situation of how things have gone doesn't sit right. Like that, I'm trying to articulate that, Zach, but you know what I mean, right? It's just something seems off.
Well, it's because it's the Browns. It's the Browns organization, man.
So hold on, let's see, Zach. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean the best case for the Browns is this works out with Shedeur. He was officially named. Kevin Stefanski named him the starter. Dylan Gabriel was cleared from concussion protocol. He is healthy, so this has nothing to do with health. This has nothing to do with Dylan Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders is the starter at least this week for the Browns. And that team looks so different with Shedeur than with Dylan Gabriel. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, he looked like a guy that he was a great college quarterback. Sometimes they're just guys that are incredible. That are winners in college, but it's a different game. It's a different game when you get to the pros. Shedeur looked much closer, at least, to a starting caliber quarterback in my mind. The offense looked better throwing the ball, even though, yes, it was still the Browns. It wasn't the best game, Browns versus Raiders. But the biggest thing for me is if Shedeur can prove, at least right now, that he is a guy you can give an opportunity to be that, I don't want to say, top end quarterback, but at least the starter for next year. I mean, the Browns have 2 first-round picks. They have their second. They have 10 picks in this 2026 draft. And it would be really nice for Cleveland if they didn't have to spend the highest one on a quarterback and do this all over again. If you can then now use those 10 picks and those 2 first-round picks, which at least one is going to be in the top 10 with their own, it opens up so much for them to add talent around Shedeur. Go get a wide receiver, go get someone, go get some offensive line help, really build up this roster this offseason. I understand he was on the sideline and he's like soft launching his comeback. I don't think Deshaun Watson ever takes a snap for the Browns again. You can get off of his contract this season. Their best case scenario right now is Shedeur Sanders at least becomes a serviceable quarterback, because then you can build around them. If this goes the next 5-6 games, he looks awful. They lose out the rest, and it doesn't look like there's anything there. It's going to be another drama-filled offseason, because either the fans, after Shedeur doesn't look great, everyone wants a restart with quarterback. Now you're going to get scrutiny for drafting a quarterback in the first round, but you probably have to. And then obviously it's just all the added thing. So best case for the Browns is Shedeur is a serviceable quarterback.
Here's what I'll say to that, Zach. If Shedeur Sanders, as you said, is a serviceable quarterback, and let's just say he's at worst, he just doesn't lose them games and is that game manager type of quarterback, the Browns can be real dangerous.
With the Texans right now.
With the defense being the way that it is, if they don't get any better on offense, or maybe they even get slightly better on offense, they're going to be a ridiculously dangerous team. Another typical AFC North type physical team.
They could challenge the Ravens and the Bengals and the Steelers.
They would be what the Texans are. The Texans with Davis Mills, just an okay offense. You're like a serviceable offense. Just let that defense do what they do.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say that the Browns are like looking for is like each team, like, to me, has a swagger to them. Like, has a confidence that with the group that they have, or whoever it is, brings that to their team. So, like, the example, if we're going to go through the AFC North, when Lamar Jackson plays, you always think you're going to win because it's Lamar Jackson. On the Bengals, you have Joe Burrow. The Steelers, while they've had this merry-go-round for quarterbacks, having Mike Tomlin, you're like, we're going to be in the fight. We're going to be there. We might be 9-8, but we're going to be in the fight, right? The Browns haven't had that swagger, at least the quarterback position, since early Baker, where they actually looked like, oh, damn, like this is a team that you don't want to play. Instead, right now, the Browns are like, they could be a pain in our ass, but we don't fear the Browns. Mm-hmm. Shedeur, what he can bring is a swagger to the team as well of, hey, I got belief, and we believe that if I can make some plays, this defense, like you said, Brad, we can beat up on teams, and you better watch out. And I would be curious. I'm actually glad in this case the Ravens don't have to go to Cleveland later in the year. I'm glad it's done.
Yeah.
Because I do think if Shedeur builds confidence down the stretch here and he gets a little better each week, this Browns team is going to play spoiler, and they're going to be a pain in the ass, especially if Myles Garrett's out there being half like cyborg. Like, what do you describe him as? I still don't know, but what I do know is he is the best defensive player. He is arguably the best player in the NFL, period, right now. And if they get a little bit better, they're going to cause a lot of problems for teams, because their losses this year, they had an embarrassing loss to the Ravens. They had a tough loss to the Jets, but the common theme was they couldn't move the ball on offense. They couldn't get it done. That defense has been rock solid. So we will see what's going to happen there. But all eyes are going to be on Cleveland for the rest of the year to see how it plays out. And a big reason is going to be, is Shedeur Sanders going to be your future? Or are you going to have to go into 2026, 2027 with brand new plans?